perimeter of the Rocky Mountain Arsenal Refuge. Today it's home to over 300 species of wildlife, but 20 years ago it was home to millions of gallons of discarded, deadly toxic waste and buried military weapons.
There was also intelligence relating to Hitler having chemical weapons, and so it was decided that the United States should have them too, to act as a deterrent for direct attack to the United States with chemical weapons. So the Army built the arsenal and built it very quickly and started making lots of chemical weapons out there in order to protect the United States.
The perimeter of the Rocky Mountain Arsenal is 27 miles. That's only 5 miles less than the island of Manhattan. The arsenal is over 15,000 acres. You could fit 17 Central Parks into it.
The Rocky Mountain Arsenal was once considered the most polluted piece of land in the world and is still the most polluted piece of land in the United States. As Denver has expanded, the arsenal became Denver's toxic backyard.
There are more than 600 different chemicals that were used at the arsenal over the course of its lifetime. They include volatile organic compounds, heavy metals, arsenic, and something called DIMP, which is a breakdown product from chemical weapons manufacturing, specifically from nerve gas.
We asked Jennifer Trego of the EPA what would happen if a person was exposed to any of the chemicals.
If someone were to be accidentally exposed to a contaminant, it would depend on what that contaminant is. It would depend on how long they were exposed. It would depend on how they were exposed. Did they breathe it? Did they touch it? Did they drink it? Worst case scenario, these chemicals can cause damage to your central nervous system. They can cause damage to your liver, to your kidneys, to your blood cells. Even in the worst case scenario, they could cause death.
This is where we live, in the Montbello neighborhood, but right across the street is
the Rocky Mountain Arsenal.
This is where millions of gallons of toxic waste are buried. You see, after World War II, the Army leased the land to Shell Oil, and they in turn dumped herbicides, pesticides on top of the already polluted land.
In 1986, the state of Colorado filed a lawsuit against Shell and the United States government. At a cost over $2 billion, the pollution was buried under 8 containment layers. The polluted groundwater is being pumped through a water treatment center and placed back into the ground. With the Rocky Mountains clearly visible to the west, the refuge is now home to prairie dogs, hawks, coyotes, bald eagle, bisons, and deer. There are hiking trails and fishing lakes, though none of the fish may be taken from the lake or eaten. In fact, it's disturbing to see the warning signs and chemical showers that are around the refuge. This will never be a park for people, but at least animals can call it home.
After 20 years of cleaning, Army spokesperson Charles Shorm says,
the Army has that as one of its values, is protecting the environment in all of its operations. And this is an example of that, where we need to manage this site long term and ensure that it continues to be protective of people and the environment.
Behind me is the city of Denver. The Army, Shell, and the state of Colorado have done an amazing job cleaning such a big area in so little time. But there's still pollution buried right under us, and it will take hundreds of years before it disappears. The Army has promised to monitor the arsenal until that day, but how do we know if the Army can keep that promise? But that's the devil's bargain we've made.